Today is Wednesday, October 12th, 2016. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor, Millennials vs. Gen X, Episode 4.
This episode was titled, Who's the Sucker at This Table? Spoken by Chris. Turns out at Tribal Council, right before the vote. How dramatic.
Yeah.
They waited until all the way to the very end, right? When they say things, generally. So he got the last word.
Well, did he, though?
Roughly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
You brought it
Coming up.
Okay, previously on
Survivor. At the Millennials camp, Zeke and Adam are feeling betrayed. At Gen X, David found an idol. Jessica wanted to turn on Paul, so they're laying it all on Jessica in the previously on, just in case we weren't clear, and I wasn't clear, given how that blindside went down. Mm-hmm. So, according to Probst, it was Jessica who wanted to turn on Paul.
That's
leaving
right.
out the other members of the Moms Alliance.
Sunday and Lucy just went along.
Yes. Chris and Bret were blindsided too, but they're still in the game. So let's find out how well that goes down when they get back at camp.
You know, my memory says Sunday was standing right there beside Jessica when Paul said that.
Yep, she was there.
So,
there were three of them there.
And then when she was telling it later on, she was like, well, Jessica said Paul said to her. And I thought, but you were standing right there too.
I don't remember that part about her saying Jessica said that.
She said it in something. I don't know if it was an extra clip or the show, but she did say that to somebody.
Well, I certainly thought that the Moms Alliance would stay together. I didn't have like long-term hopes for them, but I thought they might survive a little longer than how this goes down. So they get back at camp and Jessica announces that she would like to talk. And Chris he's not having any of it. Much like Zeke, he's not really interested in talking. Yeah, let's do that tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow.
But Bret's operating on a different wavelength. Bret wants to talk, so he ends up talking. And
then Chris doesn't want him to talk without him.
Right, so he's right back in it.
Okay, back
it all. Thanks to Bret, or Bret's agenda, Chris comes back in anyway.
And Jessica tells him, well, it's nothing to do with you two.
Mm-hmm. And they advise him that they had no deal with Paul. There were no promises. And here you can see how this was truly, and with this hindsight, it really helps. This was a bad play on their part, taking out Paul. They had what appeared to be a reasonably strong alliance in control of that tribe. And because they didn't talk it over with Bret or talk it over with Chris, because Jess really wanted a blindside, I guess. She wanted a big move, a notch on her belt.
I don't think so.
And so they didn't talk it over.
I think it was just paranoia was already creeping in, and then Paul said that, and bam, that was it.
Then somehow she loses all trust in the alliance. In either case, it's a bad move on her part. She made the move with bad info.
Well, and
she made her tribe weaker in the process.
And we talked about Lucy saying in her video, clarifying that now they had a tight alliance of 6 still, but just with the other people included and not Bret and Chris and Paul. And then the next morning, she's throwing Jessica under the bus immediately.
Let's just before we do that, because that was interesting how it went down. Jessica tells Chris it wasn't easy, and Chris says,
"Hard decision."
It seemed easy. I love that comeback. You didn't seem to have much trouble with it. You didn't put a lot of effort in. Yeah,
he didn't.
You came to that conclusion all on your own. So, and somehow she's going to leave all this exchange thinking that she was in this together with the other people in that new alliance that Lucy talked about. But like you said, Lucy's got second thoughts the next morning. She's talking to Sunday. And Sunday starts it off, right? She said, did we make a mistake? Certainly Sunday's she's questioning, having doubts about that. And Lucy tells her, well, we can't go there. And I think that's awesome advice. Once you commit to it like that, you can't be burning energy on worrying about it.
But what we
good or
can do
bad.
is throw Jessica under the bus.
And
It's all
then-
her fault.
Well, Lucy also tells us that she thinks Bret and Chris are feeling like they've been cheated on, they've been betrayed. And then she makes it, well, and Jessica was just trying to take control. I feel betrayed too. That was a slippery slope, and she did that flip, seemed like really quick. She had all that. She had the time to get this straight. And like you said, there was that extra clip of her, which was a confessional saying they had it locked in. So she had spent time thinking about this new alliance for sure. But now she's just sure that Jessica had put that thought in her head that they needed to get rid of Paul.
Well, number one, I don't think Lucy's that weak-minded.
You can't have it both ways. You can't be
Exactly.
Tiger Mom in control, making
Exactly.
the decisions, and then have someone
no.
that was guiding you through there. So
I don't think so. I
Lucy
thought
was definitely wishy-washy.
I just think she saw an opportunity, because Jessica
It's a new narrative.
was
She's going to
more
run with
in
it.
control than her,
Yeah.
maybe, and she saw a way to eliminate Jessica,
Lucy-
step herself up.
Has a lot in common with Ken then.
There you go.
Ken was fighting Paul. Now Lucy's fighting Jess.
Well, that was my thought. They all thought Paul was calling the shots. Leadership's up for grabs, everyone.
Yeah.
Everybody scramble. Because that's kind of what they were doing. Ken, Lucy, even Jessica to a degree, they're all wanting control.
Yeah, I don't know if there was so
And-
much about Jess thinking she had or wanting control that we got to see.
Well, I think a lot of
But
her,
certainly
like I
Lucy
said,
started moving on this
paranoia.
narrative once she had it in gear. So she
Yep.
goes to Chris and Bret and she says, Jessica's taking power and we're going to have to do something.
she just took over. She's the one in power now. She's calling the shots.
And she
We should
tells
get her
Bret, I got Ken and Dave in my pocket. Trust me. If you want to make a
Wow.
move on Jess, I've got them.
But why would she tell them that? That's the one thing.
That's making her valuable. It's making her
Is it?
pivotal to making this move against Jess.
Well, maybe, but is it really?
You're saying it could backfire and that they
Yes.
could take that to Jess.
Yes.
I think it's a pretty smart play on Lucy's part because Bret and Chris, they don't like Jess right now. And they're not really interested in talking to her. So
Well, yes, that's exactly why she
it was
moved.
a safe play
Yes.
in terms of,
Well,
I'm answering your question. It
not
was a
only
safe
a-
thing to do for her to make that statement.
It was not only a good play, it was what they wanted to do, and she just fell in line with it. She saw the opportunity to get rid of another power person and took it and put herself a little bit in power, which, eventually didn't work out so well for her either. I'm not sure I would want the power position right now.
Okay, let's go over the Millennials here on day 11. Continuing on day 11's a busy day.
Pig tracks on the beach.
Yep, and goats on the hill. So they're basically hungry and they're going to go hunting.
I don't know if
I
they
didn't
were
expect
really
anything.
pig tracks. It might have been goat tracks all along.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, Zeke's an asset manager. He may not have a lot of familiarity with animal tracks.
Well, obviously they didn't get one, or they
He's
would
like
have
me,
shown
sits
us,
in an office all day.
right?
What's that?
Obviously they didn't get one because they
No.
haven't
Oh,
shown
yeah,
us.
they definitely would have shown that.
And they did it on a challenge day.
So
That
you
was
think they
my
knew
thought.
that?
I don't know.
I think they maybe impulsively ran off
Oh, because it
to
was
act on their
the
hunger
first
in the morning.
reward.
Yeah, they didn't necessarily know. They didn't have tree mail. Could be. Could
Because
be.
I thought, wow, they did all that climbing around and up the hills and trying to get food because they were
Hungry.
so hungry. And then they had to go to a.
And anyone with outdoor skills, bushcraft, survival skills, will tell you you burn a lot of calories on a hunt like that, and it's not generally, unless you got a gun, it ain't gonna happen. Generally not gonna happen.
Yeah, I thought,
So it's real risky in terms of the amount of calories you waste.
somebody
expend.
had carved out a steak or something, a
Spear?
spear.
Yeah. yeah.
Kind of a spear.
Figgy's running around with the machete, swinging it. Man, I would be nowhere near her. I wouldn't trust her a second with that thing.
So who went? Will, Zeke, Figgy, and Jay and Taylor, right?
That's the ones we
Michelle
saw.
and Michaela stayed home with Adam
Yeah.
and Hannah.
Hannah, yeah, we didn't see them.
Okay.
But it was a really brief clip. So
Yeah.
even the next time on Survivor clip was a little deceptive. They actually, when they showed them running, it was from the first episode when they were all taken off. So it showed them on the beach, like charging up the beach, and the clip, the preview
If
for
you
this
say
week.
so.
Yeah. So we got a little bit of the hunt, but yeah, maybe it was just them. And in any case, Adam tells us that he's rededicating himself to finding that hidden immunity idol.
Which he does. Well,
And first he finds the
Vision.
clue, and he has a little premature idol celebration there. Gets a bit giddy, overwhelmed with finding the clue.
Hey.
And so he's happy and sad at the same time because he really thought he had it.
Like he said, it's a super fan's dream. Mm-hmm. You think it's there, and then the disappointment of
The psych.
Oh,
Yes.
I still gotta look for it.
Yeah, so let me flip over and read all that it said, because they gave the first couple of lines and we paused it. So Mother Nature hides your safety. Your tribe motif marks the power. I didn't realize that was a tribe motif on the coconut. With the first one, the spiral circle
Okay.
thing. Your prize is sheltered. SHELL spacer dash and then TERED there. So it's calling out the shell part, but I think he was so excited that he didn't pick up on that at first. To protect you at the crucial hour, once in hand, give it a crack. Insurance for when things look dour. So power hour and dour.
Well, that he took literally and tried to crack it instead of just pulling it open like he ended up doing. But
So,
okay, I jumped
good-
ahead.
Good on him. He finds the clue, and yes, there's an idol search coming his way, and then he ends up finding it, and Hannah yells out, "How's your idol search going?" That caught me off guard. I think I jumped a little on the inside when
oh, no,
that
she
happened.
saw it.
Yeah, and then she shouts out, "Good luck, buddy!" And what do you think? Did she
Did
see
you
him?
jump way ahead? You kind
Oh.
of skipped the
Oh,
whole
you know what?
reward challenge.
I did, because I flipped the page to read the clue.
I love it. Stacy did it. Stacy
Yep,
did.
I came back to the bottom of the next
I was
page.
like, hello.
Right.
Where I left off, he said he'd
He
have to
finds
look
the
another
clue.
time.
That's right. You're right.
Okay.
I just flipped my page back
I like
and started
that
reading.
very much. I was right.
Yes, redemption for you.
Hey.
Reward challenge. So you got to
Yay,
offer
they
a
got their swimsuits.
temporal correction for me. Yes, swimsuits finally. Come on in, guys. It's time for the reward challenge, and what a nice reward! Steaks
Oh,
and sausage and
sausages,
veggies
veggies,
and spices, some coconut
Seasonings,
oil.
oil.
So
yeah.
they'll have some fat, which is huge for getting your energy back in that kind of starvation scenario that they're in now.
Yeah, and coconut oil's a good oil. We give it to our babies, too.
Millennials are surprised to see that Paul's gone. Okay, what'd you think about this challenge?
I liked it.
These are good, these physical challenges. So simple but good. Go out, grab the ring, bring it back, touch your tribe pole, and you're good to go. And you win a feast. What are you laughing at?
How anyone can compete with Chris.
Yeah.
Though they did pretty good. Zeke did well.
Yeah, let's talk about the matchups. In the first one,
Okay.
it's two men. So you have Chris and David, which I was thinking, oh, geez, I hope Chris is going to be able to do this by himself because I'm not sure David's going to be able to help any. And so I was surprised by how it played out versus Jay and Adam. So Adam, David, that's probably about a similar matchup, though. So it's really Jay that's going to be hurting on the physicality of this one.
Yep.
And there's some good back and forth, and then Chris ends up grabbing both of them, and David gets to run it in for the
Just
score.
holding on. Like,
Yeah.
I'll hold him here however long it takes you, David. Just
Yep.
go ahead and touch
Do
that
your
pole
best.
over there, will
Wait
ya?
on up there. Yeah, so that,
I was like,
that was a good one.
oh, man, that must have felt really bad for Adam and Jay.
Yeah. Okay, in the next matchup, Sunday and CeCe. So I was really curious against Figgy and Michaela how this one was going to play out. Because
So-
I wanted to see if CeCe was going to do anything. Because my take on this is they made a huge mistake keeping CeCe.
Well, for this particular challenge, I think the question was answered from the listener feedback show that the millennial women were stronger for this challenge.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Definitely. Michaela ends up just doing amazing in these challenges. Okay, next one. So basically the takeaway was that I was just sad that Sunday and CeCe did so poorly, The next one is Bret and Ken, which is pretty formidable, against Taylor and Will. And Taylor is just so psyched. He's psyching himself. I think what did he yell out? Did he yell out Bret's
I don't
name?
remember.
Or did he just scream? It's like nervous scream energy. And Will. So I was thinking, okay, maybe Will will be able to do something.
I was really surprised that Will didn't do better than he did.
Ken just got out there and
Just went
snagged
out
it
there
right
and
away.
took it away
Will
from
was
him.
nothing. Yeah.
And that was that with
Bret he helped Taylor with his swimming lessons, right? He just holds him up while he's trying to swim. He can't go anywhere. Oh, man. Okay, so that was a good one. Ken scores, and they're up 2-1. So right here, Jessica and Lucy, who look pretty strong, right?
Yeah,
physically.
Yeah, Lucy did
They definitely have some physicality, and I remember Jess doing those handstands back before the season began. So you think there's something here against Michaela and Hannah. So I thought, Hannah. I'm not sure Hannah's going to be able to offer anything, and I felt pretty confident it was going to be over here.
Well, she kind of gave Lucy somebody to hang on to, and she must have been holding Michaela. This is where she took her top off because Lucy was probably holding on to it.
Was digging deep, as Probst loves to say. Yep.
Oh, well, then here, you can have it.
Yeah, hold on to that.
I'm going for the
Hold this.
point.
I'm going to go score. Yeah, so Michaela ends up bringing it back.
But where was Jessica at that point? She didn't do as well as I thought.
Neither Jessica nor Lucy. Lucy started off okay, and then they both looked completely ineffective once Michaela went into beast mode. When she started, just digging to get over there, like Probst like to say.
I'm getting over there.
Yeah, so there's definitely an element of luck in this. You could catch a wave, and it could set you up in a much better position. It could give you an advantage, give you some footing, and you could catch a wave and lose your footing and then just being pulled along.
Well, I wonder if Jessica was tired or because she's the one that went all the way out and got the ring.
It wasn't that far.
And came back.
Yeah.
While Lucy was holding the two of them.
Again, to your point, the millennial women, stronger. Certainly, they just no match for Michaela. You look at we were looking at Michaela when she was back at camp, and she's got like a 6-pack abs, and she's got massive thighs. When she went into beast mode, even though the top was off, it was over. She just drug them on over there.
I like it that she didn't care.
Yeah, that was good too.
Okay, so they get to stare at the tatas.
Yeah, good to go. Good job, Michaela.
For food, I imagine she just thought, for food,
steak?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
My swimsuit exposed my tatas or steak?
And I thought it was the Tata tidal wave that took out Probst, but it turned out it wasn't.
I think it was more the Chris tidal wave.
That tied it up 2-2, so have to, at least from what we're given on the TV, sometimes there are more rounds than we actually get to see, but it looks like it goes to a 5th round. So you got David and Chris back out again, this time against Jay and Zeke instead of Jay and Adam.
And Jay runs out and gets the ring.
Yep.
And then Chris shows them who's boss.
Yeah, well, it looked like they were way far over on the millennial side. And so there was I thought there was some great drama.
Yeah, we thought they were going to get it.
It just looked like the waves were going to help carry him in, and then Chris finally got his footing.
And I have to say, David did okay. He at least blocked till Chris could shake Zeke off. Zeke did good.
He helped a little bit. Yeah, Zeke was tying up Chris. He was pretty effective for a while, and then it was...
Chris just said,
it was over. He finally, and then he gave the Hulk smash, and that's what caused the wave that as he scored that knocked Probst over. I think that was a Hulk smash wave. Yeah, that's what we decided. Yeah.
It was Chris rode that wave over, and
he
and
smashed it and caused it to go. That's it. So in any case, Gen X wins reward, and an awesome reward's waiting for him back.
I actually was just so disappointed that it didn't take Jeff because we've never seen him really get wet.
Yeah, well, he got soaked pretty good.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, if it rolled him.
Yeah.
You've had your experience with that, haven't you?
Oh, Lord, have I. I couldn't get out. I saw a swim teacher watching us to see if you could get me out of the dang wave.
It wasn't easy, but we got it.
It wasn't. You had to take the flippers off. I couldn't stand up. It just kept knocking me over. And I thought I looked like a beached whale up here on the sand. And I can't, every time I sat up, I couldn't get my feet out. It would just knock me right back.
Yep.
And we were, of course, stupidly over on rocks, too. But anyway.
Yep, just wanted to
drug me
up the difficulty level.
By fins out into the deeper water so I could get my feet under me.
Yeah, we got it straight.
Yeah, but hey.
So the big question then becomes, will the big power up in the food help them win immunity? Okay, so we cut back to Millennials, day 11, and Zeke's talking about how huge the guys were, but how Michaela the Amazon was so significant for their side, even though they lost. And that's when we get Michaela's confessional. And yep, you're going to see some tatas if I'm going to win. So, and Adam said something interesting. He said we misstrategized this time when they were all standing around chatting when they got back.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he meant by that, but
Having him go out there, is that what he meant? That because he does comment on how he's just not good at physical challenges. So that just seemed like an odd thing to say. You don't want to lay that on the tribe. I think they had a theme going about, hey, they just got beat by Chris, basically, and could have stuck with that. Not sure why he wanted to go there. In any case, he informs us it's time to find that hidden immunity idol that I had jumped ahead to. So here we are at that
here
page.
he actually does find
He
it.
finds it. And so you and I had a nice conversation because I found out that you thought he was looking for a coconut.
Yeah, I thought it was also in a coconut.
But
I know, I just kind of, forgot all that.
Okay, all right.
I just kind of went, oh, yeah.
And that's when Hannah calls out to him. So
Wednesdays
do you think Hannah...
are a very busy day for
Do you
me.
think Hannah actually busted him or not?
No.
I kind of think she did.
Yeah?
Yeah, and this is
thought
going to
she
be
did at first.
a way for her to get back in with him,
Go
prove
Hannah.
her trust, something like
She
that.
was invisible this episode pretty much.
Her and Lucy were minimized a lot. Not Lucy, sorry, Sunday were minimized a lot, but they had their moments. She definitely had some screen time. But yeah, that was pretty much the only thing you see her saying, just like with Sunday. It's
Yeah, and then
did we make a mistake?
Adam tells what's going on with his mom.
Yeah, so he breaks down a little bit because he's overwhelmed with actually finding the idol in the shell there.
And that his mom's a huge super fan as well.
That's awesome. I think that would take me out too, emotionally.
Now, this
be able to
was
pull that off.
all day 11.
Yeah, still day 11, right? Yep.
Yep. So, let's go to day 12 now.
They
Over
saved
at-
some of the sausage for breakfast. That's cool.
And the peppers.
Yeah.
Those peppers look really good,
Had
too, to me.
had some veggies left, so good for them.
So Dave's questioning Lucy about, well, who's next? I didn't like that she said to him, well, I won't give you the name. I'll tell you later. I thought, whoa.
Yeah,
I
this
would not
is-
be
it all
happy
pivots
with
on
that.
this.
Yeah. Like,
This is
you're
the
not
moment.
you're not in the know. I'll tell you when you need to know.
This is her Paul moment, right, where she messes up the alliance essentially.
Yeah.
With those few statements.
Well, we knew she ticked Ken off, but I think she might have ticked David off, too.
Maybe he might be comfortable having someone tell him what to do.
Well,
maybe it would alleviate some of his anxiety.
I think he might have got her back, though, so in the long run. So, okay. Then Ken shows up, and then she tells him. But
I like
then,
how Ken ends up being a tag along to that.
Yeah.
They're gonna go get water, and he ends up tagging along with David and Lucy.
He's just a tidge whiny himself.
Yeah,
about
we're starting
stuff.
to-
Just,
Yeah, there's definitely, well, Lucy puts forward an assessment of him for sure. But yeah, he does seem to cry a lot about not being the leader or how he's not in charge or, he resents having someone else in charge. Let's say it that way. That's a fair summary.
well, I think he thought, I did all that work and we got Paul out, and I thought everybody was going to get to be the leader, and
Yeah.
now this little lady just jumped in there, and now she's trying to boss me around.
So Lucy tells him Jess is next, keep your mouth shut, and then she says, are you comfortable with that? We appreciate your bluntness,
Okay.
Lucy. Yeah, that's what we live for, your bluntness. Lucy doesn't understand power dynamics, obviously. You can be blunt as equals. You can't be blunt when you have power and you're in control. And that was the relationship she assumed there.
I wouldn't even call that blunt. That was more bossy than blunt, because she was handing out orders. Don't do this, don't do that. You can't talk to this, you can't, blah, blah, blah. Nobody likes to hear anything in that way. I agree with Ken there, and yet he was still whining about it.
Okay, let's move on to the community challenge. What did you think about this? Probst made a big deal in the behind-the-scenes video of the build and the complexity of it and how they had to rework it. And how do you think it turned out in the end?
I liked it, but probably not as good as the reward challenge.
The reward challenge was better. I'm with
Yeah.
you.
We liked
for
the
all-
action, I guess.
For all of the, I guess, the intricacy of the pulleys and bringing people up there and having them get it in order and all that. I don't know. It didn't seem that exciting.
It was detailed.
I was just waiting on it to be over.
I'm sure it was brutal.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as exciting to watch. I think it was a good challenge because I wouldn't have wanted to be on the other end of that. I'm still not sure why they lifted Chris. I just don't quite get that.
I guess the people being lifted are going to be the puzzle solver, and maybe that was part of it.
Yeah, but we've never seen him on puzzle before. And anyway, that's why we chose them to lose.
Yeah, having David on another puzzle just didn't seem like it was going to end well to me.
David, and because you could see in the previews that they were on there together, and so it was like, okay, well.
Okay, so they got to run a little bit of an obstacle course, hop over some beams, and then
yeah, that's kind of lame.
Do the basically what in football is the tire drill where you.
Though I did like seeing
there.
David go through that.
Yeah.
And high step it.
Yeah, he definitely got his
and
knees up.
And he didn't trip or anything, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was good.
So, because, David would be so much fun. It was like when we had fun every time Rafe would do something goofy. We just loved him.
Yeah.
It was so fun to watch Rafe, do things.
You're equating this to watching
No, not
Rafe?
watching Rafe.
No.
No, he's better, apparently a much better player than what we've seen of David so far.
Yeah. I just keep waiting for a disaster to happen when I'm watching David. So I think David gives me anxiety watching him. But seemed to do just fine in this challenge, and it didn't, even though they did have to lift Big Chris up, they ended up with an advantage, but it ended up being just a moot point completely because it took them over 45 minutes to solve the puzzle.
Puzzle people on the Gen X tribe. They just don't seem to. Though Jessica and Sunday, they had said before they really thought they would have gotten it had they had more time on that first puzzle. Right. So I don't understand why they didn't let the people they thought were good at it do it. But maybe because they failed and the guys wanted to try.
Yeah, given that no one's done well yet.
Ken and Chris got to lead.
Here's the hint. Take David out of the puzzles, please.
Well, he was the one they were kind of depending on, you could tell. And it seems like they got it right there at the end, but it didn't matter.
No, they didn't get it. They weren't even close.
I don't know what they had going. I wasn't really
it was,
but I thought they did. I thought they were close.
Nope. Okay. Somebody loses their flame tonight. And it looked to me like for the Millennials that it wasn't necessarily Figgy, Michelle, and Michaela that got it. It was Zeke that got them going. Mm-hmm. He either confirmed something or he actually gave them
well, at least
the
they were
first part
talking
of
to
it.
each other and whispering back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think it mattered much what strategy you were trying. So I think it would probably be easier to lay the letters out and try different words to me.
Basically did it in their heads versus actually moving all the puzzles around over and over.
Yeah, but when they were cutting over there, they actually had words up. They just weren't trying as many different variations as Gen X was. I think the way Probst represented it was a little incorrect. They were trying things to help them work through. They just weren't burning through as many different options.
Well, it certainly took quite a while. Took over 45 minutes.
And then it starts pouring rain there at the end after the Millennials win. Did you notice that?
I did not.
Yep. Gen X standing in the pouring rain as it cuts to David, cuts to Ken, cuts to CeCe.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I must have looked away a second.
Okay, so back at Gen X camp.
They said that was a hard puzzle. I don't remember who said that, but anyway, Bret starts talking to Jessica, and Chris starts talking to Lucy. The puzzles are killing us.
Yep.
And she assures them that Dave and Ken are on board with the
blind side of Jess.
Yeah.
She tells us, hey, she's a Tiger Mom, and in her Tiger Mom role, she's in control, making all the decisions at home. So at home as here, she's good with how things are going.
Well, and Ken then is telling David about he was done as soon as Lucy was scolding him. Yep. I think Ken has some issues.
He thinks they're at the bottom
Unresolved
again.
issues.
Yeah.
So anyway, he comes up with a good plan. Me, Dave, CeCe, and Jess, and if she can bring Sunday over, then we'll vote Lucy off.
Okay.
It sounded good at the time. However, somehow Jess just didn't trust Ken. She didn't believe it.
Well, I think she felt like she got burned a little bit by not trusting and not talking on the Paul thing.
Yeah.
So she's not going to make that mistake again.
And yet, it certainly
Lucy was
shook
more
things up.
convincing than Ken, is what it
Right.
boils down
Yeah.
to. When Ken asked for the trust call, Jess chose Lucy was the way we got it,
So
right?
Jess just chose poorly in her. Mm-hmm. I think that was the theme of the last couple episodes.
Yeah.
She chose poorly for
And she's
long
doing
term.
it again. Yep.
And so she goes right. This was so funny. Ken tells Jess. Jess tells Lucy what Ken said.
Yeah.
And then Lucy tells Dave. And then Dave tells Ken. It's like, oh, geez, this is like high school.
Jess ratted you out.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what David tells Ken.
And then Lucy and her. Ken's so emotional.
That-
He's like a girl.
There we go. That's the real.
Yeah.
That's the hammer. That's the 2 and the 1-2
I
there.
thought, oh, that's mean.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like anyone telling me what to do or where to go or what I could say or.
That was after
You
Ken
know.
had his little blow up there in camp.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
gave me rules.
Yeah, I don't particularly care for people giving me rules either.
Well, are you there to play and
Sure.
win? Or are you there to impose your will on others and be treated the way you think you deserve to be treated? What are you going to do when you get out there, right? Are you going to be...
Neither one of them were playing it well in that respect.
They
Ken
both made
or
mistakes,
Lucy.
for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
But
and then
basically, you didn't
Lucy-
have to do anything, and you could have had this happen. But no, you had to be whiny about it and run to
Well,
Jess and be a rat.
okay, Ken was whiny. Then Lucy turns around and became whiny with her little, well, everyone pack your clothes tonight because we have a snitch in the group.
I didn't think that was whiny.
I
thought
it
that
was
was her
kind of-
being mad.
Well, mad and whiny about it. I thought it was whiny.
Our definitions of whiny are a little different tonight. I
I'll
think.
show you whiny.
Let's not. David
Okay.
informs us that he's taking the idol because he's concerned. I thought, well, okay, that's good. Good for you.
Yeah, I really didn't expect to see tribal council the way it turned out. So
Speaking of
let's
travel,
go there.
yeah. So Probst asked David, "Hey, are you together? Did this last move you make really unify the tribe, or is it game on? Is there a lot of gaming going on as a fallout from that?" And David
Game
said,
on.
"Game on." Chris says, "Yeah, we're upset with our alliance, and we still got to figure it out if we're going to come together."
Yep. So everything's in chaos.
Jess says that they're all processing and maybe together as a 5.
I hope we've come back together as 5, even without Paul. So you're isolating the other people.
Lucy's quick to point out, nope, it's all blown up. Now we're in chaos and Ken wants me out. Ken said, well, it's all about how you ask.
Yeah, and then he said,
What'd you think of her comeback? I'm blunt.
Oh, men.
Men tell me
No,
they appreciate it.
Men say
Yeah.
they
that's-
usually like it when I'm blunt.
That's
so
a-
she called him a girl
It's a very
basically twice.
backhanded way, yes. And Probst tries to bust her chops a little bit. It's like, hey, you're doing it again. I don't think Lucy cared one way or another. It's like, yeah,
Well,
what's your point?
I agree with Ken's point of you can ask someone to do something, but I do agree with that part. You know, it's
Sure.
much better to not be the boss.
Ideally, you're trying to weigh your options and your responses, your actions to say, if I do this, this will be the result. Is this the desired result? Is this what I want? Or am I just making things more complicated?
Well, I liked when Jess turned to Ken and said, well, am I supposed to 100% believe what you told me?
This is a
And
great example of why
he
you
went,
don't ask yes or
"Yes."
no questions. Yeah. Into the conversation. Then she had nothing. Bloop. It's
Well,
over.
and he had always been honest with her, but she just really wasn't trusting
She had
anyone.
no basis for that,
Again,
yeah.
paranoia.
Yep.
And she has a lot of the paranoia.
So at
And
this
her
point,
eyes are very expressive.
at least they're not pink eye red kind of anymore,
True.
right? Weren't they a lot better?
Oh, there's still some.
Yeah, but they're greatly improved. David gives us a new word, a new action word at Tribal. Live Tribal is what he, at least I think that was relatively new, the way he phrased it. Certainly we've seen this happen before where it seems like the votes are still undecided. Everything's up in the air.
Well, Chris clarified his vote, and I thought that was good because, you know, when all that's going on and things are being said, he's basically saying, I'm not wavering from my vote.
We're going to
So
find
y'all
out.
know who
And this
I'm
is where you
voting
get the
for.
title. Who's the sucker at the table? He also adds, who's the chump.
Yeah. Okay. I guess he felt like he was the chump last week.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He and Bret.
And then
they both said as much.
We get the idol play for Jessica.
So I thought he was going to hold it again, so I was surprised to see him come up and do that. And then,
But when he stood up, I said, he's going to play it for Jessica.
In your head? Because I didn't hear in your outside voice.
I did say it out loud.
I'll check the tape. I'm not sure.
Okay, check the tape.
Yeah, I checked and no.
Don't have any tape.
Nope, it's not on there.
Yeah.
You didn't say it.
There is
it was
nothing
your inside
surprising that it's not on your tape, baby. You do not hear all words.
So we get the big bombshell. David plays it for Jess. So 5 Jess votes go by. Now I'm wondering, okay, who's it going to be? So just real quick, you had Bret going.
I did.
I had Chris going. I thought they're blowing up their tribe. They've got a new power center. I think they've made a mistake getting rid of Paul. They're going to continue. They're going to get rid of these other guys. We both thought that. We just went in slightly different directions.
Yeah, I didn't think they'd get rid of Chris. He's too powerful.
Well, I chose him because he was the biggest threat of the two.
Yeah, but he will guaranteed be targeted after the merge. So I thought, well, that'll kind of take care of itself.
Maybe, yeah.
And
you could make that argument for both of them, though.
He's stronger than Bret. That's why I chose Bret. Because I, too, thought they would stay together at least for one more vote.
Mom's alliance was so pitiful.
How silly are we?
How disappointing was the Mom's alliance? We know historically it's hard for women to have an alliance in the game.
Speaking of whining, I wish they could have heard you all night. He has whined all night about, there's that Mom alliance, and I was just so here, and I'm so disappointed.
Well, we based our decision off of that, right? About them acting in their own best interest, which is another classic mistake that survivor strategists make, thinking that other people are going to act logically.
I like it because I was so confused. It's like, I don't know who's going.
Yeah, so David, he wants to say a few words. He makes it even more dramatic. Okay, so the big question is, do you think this was a good move for David?
Wow.
He made a big move. Probst loves big moves.
I'm not sure it was because I think they were pulling David in anyway. Lucy, Sunday. Now, yes, he'd still be at the bottom of that. If Ken stays with him, because Ken voted Jessica too. I think he was just sending a message, though. I think Ken and Jessica could put it back together and then have David and CeCe.
Are you saying that you think Ken knew what David was going to do? Because I don't think he did.
I kind of think he might have, yeah. And so, therefore, he knew his vote wouldn't make a difference.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Maybe we can figure that out. I don't think that was the case. I think Ken thought, I gave you this, I trusted you, and you just screwed me with it and took it right to Lucy. And so, you know what? I'm getting on board. I'm getting rid of you, Jess.
Well,
that's where I think Ken was. I don't think he knew David was going to do that at all.
I think it was kind of a punishment.
I think the only person who knew that was David, maybe CeCe.
Yeah, well,
he may have told CeCe. Because they both ended up voting for Lucy.
And the three of them, it doesn't work that way. The numbers.
That's why I think this doesn't make sense to me, how he comes out better for this. Now he doesn't have his idol. Well, there's a new idol search. And who does he have? CeCe.
He's got CeCe maybe Jess. And probably Jess. Now, okay, look what he did for me. I can trust him. And they're probably... I think 4 of them will come back together.
But you got to go build that.
Therefore, it would be 4-3. I think they just proved themselves.
What if he didn't tell Ken?
Ken told her the truth. David played the idol for her. Why wouldn't she trust them now?
Because of this. You didn't tell Ken. You didn't tell Bret. You didn't tell Chris. You didn't tell Sunday. So, There's 4 that could potentially stay together against David, CeCe, and Jess, even if Jess was stupid enough to align with him in that scenario.
So you're saying you think Ken would go with them? I don't think so.
David did this without having anywhere to go.
I don't think so. That's what I'm telling you. I think Ken's still with them.
I heard what you said. I'm giving you an alternative.
The message. I didn't.
That's why I don't think it was a smart move for David.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward, obviously, to seeing what other people thought.
I don't know if that it was a smart move for David, and now he doesn't have the idol for himself.
Right. So next time on Survivor?
If my theory is correct and those 4 are now going to be in the alliance, then they're 4-3. And then it would make sense. Since Jess
I wouldn't do it without
CeCe.
having a 4, though. I wouldn't do it on the
Yeah.
hopes that I could get a 4.
Well, they're grasping at straws right now, I guess, when there's so much split going on. So we'll see. And it won't matter anyways because drop your buffs.
Next time on Survivor, Gen X is doing the hidden immunity idol search because it's back in play. So they're all scrambling
Who's
around.
going to find it?
Trying to find it. Yeah, what if nobody does?
Maybe Adam will go over there and he'll find another one.
Yeah, or Zeke.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, Probst tells them when they come back together next time, drop the buffs, surprise switch. So they're going to go to 8 and 8 and mix it up randomly,
Probably
maybe.
8 and 8, yeah.
Yeah.
And who's hoping the couple gets split? And
Me.
who wants to see them together?
Yeah, I'd be fine with the
I'd like to
showmance
see
being
how
split
they
up.
play a part, actually.
Play apart, get picked apart. So, they're probably the closest thing that depends on how you're looking at it. I guess some people are cheering for them. I'm not. I don't think they're playing smart, and I think they're playing arrogant, which usually means comeuppance. So they're not villainous or anything, but they're the closest thing to someone I'm cheering against, I suppose.
Well, any
So.
power couple, in the game of Survivor.
Seems foolish on their part, yep. But they're getting the coast right now on their wins.
Yeah, and they have been playing. We've seen some strategy, and they've done well in challenges.
The way Hannah said that, are you having fun on your idol search and good luck, buddy, makes me think they were talking about him being out searching for the idol. At least some subset of the millennial tribe was talking about
Well,
it.
he talked like they all had looked for it, but they were that they had kind of given up.
Mari told us that they had all been
Yeah.
looking actively, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
Adam said that it had died down a little bit, but he was back at it, obviously, and it paid off for him. How about a JSFL update?
Okay. There are 8 people tied for first place now. 1 person lost their USB 24. 55 people earned a vote-off point. Congratulations.
Yeah, good job.
35 people lost a safe
I
point.
thought the whole thing with Lucy was too obvious, so I didn't bite on that. Because they were making her out. Ken said she's the new dictator.
yeah, I did too.
So that's a reason to go and say,
Oh,
she's going to go
definitely.
next. They get rid of people who are
Yeah, but I
trying
usually
to be in
think,
power.
oh no, they want us to think that.
So you and I both
yeah, we
opted not to take that, but good on you, 55.
In the challengers, Aaron is in the lead with 18
Wow.
points.
Good job,
Way to
Aaron.
go, Aaron. Jeremiah right behind him with 17. With 16, we have Brandon, Cold Mike, Hubbaloo, Iron Dave, James and Shannon, Jonathan, Noom, and Tyler. With 15, we have Carolyn and Stacy. And with 14, Kitty Cat.
All right, so we're just kind of holding steady there at the bottom, huh? Yeah, just warming up the
As
pipes.
she said in the listener feedback
Yeah.
show. Okay.
All right, well, we're looking forward to hearing what you thought about this episode. We'll get a interview with Lucy tomorrow. Certainly got some questions about that reward challenge, the immunity challenge, the feast that they had on that food there, and what it meant for them, and maybe she can give us some extra insight into some of the other Gen Xers too. We're going to get some questions together for her. Then on Saturday, we get our listener feedback show out. That's your turn to share your views and predictions about what you think, maybe some things that we missed in the big recap we just did here, and any predictions you may have for what's going to happen next as they do the shuffle. And what's that? What does that mean?
I was mocking you.
Oh, okay. You
I was
pointed
mocking
up.
your motion. No, you were talking with your hand.
All right. And any predictions you may have for what we could expect next with the tribal shuffle in episode 5? Are the lovebirds going to get split up? And more importantly,
No, we're right
what's gonna happen to David now that he's given up his hidden immunity idol, the big insurance that he once had? You think he'll find another that quick? Given he knows how to look for them, he does have an advantage,
True.
right? Or is he going to be out of luck?
The thing is, he didn't find the clue. He just found the idol.
Mm-hmm. Because
probably
you know
still
why
a
he
clue
found
out
it?
there.
Yeah, he found it because it was so obvious. So you guys suck at hiding them the way you said. Jeez, the painting on that, whatever it was, the red or the green on the shell.
Well, Adams was kind of half buried. He had a hard time finding that one.
Yeah, once he had the clue,
I think that was
it was more
Wasn't that
straightforward.
one of the giant clam shells?
Yeah, that's what it looked like, that they had glued it shut. Yeah, he was supposed to smash it, but he ended up just pulling it apart.
He tried to smash it, but it was
just like
easy to
David
just-
did with the coconut. He
Yeah, it
just
was
pulled it open. Yeah.
Find where they glued it.
The seam and lever it open. It's not really hard, but yeah. So we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts and observations about this episode and what we can expect next. The voicemail line 206-350-1547. There's also a toll-free version if you need or want to use it, 844-643-8737. And then the email is joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. You can always find all that at GetSFP, GetSFP.com. And I wanted to mention, who is it, Bill? Bill in
I need
Oregon?
to know what you're referring.
Bill in Oregon had sent a email question. He's saying, hey, how do we see the extra videos? Because he can't seem to always find them on the CBS site. And so there's a Survivor on CBS channel on YouTube, and we're subscribed to that, and we click the little notifier bell. So anytime they post a new one, like there's at this point, 9:41 here right now, there's probably 20 plus videos out there.
I don't know, haven't been.
Yeah, well, right, we're sitting here recording the recap, but in any case, there's a whole rush of them that come out on
looked at me for
Wednesday night.
confirmation.
Not really. I was trying to include you in the conversation.
Yeah.
But so we see how well that went. So that's how we keep track and watch the videos. Again, Survivor on CBS YouTube channel, which made me remember too, there's an option with our hosting provider that I've been taking advantage of, but I don't think I mentioned it. Some folks noticed it. But we have a YouTube channel where we were posting our interviews back when we were able to go and do interviews at the finale on the red carpet and all that. And the audio version of our podcast, I'm having it published onto the YouTube channel. So those are there. And there's a neat little feature, too, like on the listener feedback show that we'll be recording that you'll be sending in your thoughts for on Saturday, for that Saturday show. I always do an index where, who's talking when in the podcast. And I noticed with the way it gets produced, you can go to the YouTube version and click. It's got all the times there, and you can click and go to those specific times. So it finally paid off that, I include the timestamps for when each person's given their feedback, and you can jump right to the...
If you want to run in and hear your feedback, now it came...
Or someone else or something you're trying to remember. So that's there on our YouTube channel for the Survivor Fans podcast. I'll add that into the show notes so that you can find it. I don't even know how to look
for that. I guess you would search under.
You use YouTube. It all the time. You just don't know.
Yeah, but you just make it available to me.
Yeah. Good deal. Anything else you want to add?
No.
You liked the episode?
I did. I loved it.
I enjoyed it too. It was exciting. I didn't necessarily see Lucy being the target, but it was interesting to see how that went down, and surprising to see.
No vision.
It's surprising to see David make that play. It'll be interesting to see if it yields anything for him, and I'm curious what you thought about it. So we look forward to hearing your thoughts on Saturday.
Our paranoia ruled, and we were just sure CBS was trying to fool us.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.